So I want to talk about the easiest way to cheat Honorlock. So if you don't know me, I am Professor Dave Matsack. I'm an Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy in Entrepreneurship, and I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I wanted to pay the favor for it to help you out. So I'm walking my doggies right now. That's Babs, and the older one is Isabel. All right, so how do you cheat Honorlock? And there's actually a really, really simple trick. Find professors that don't care. I think that's going to be the easiest way for you to do it. Um, Honestly, I'm going to tell you this right up front. Honorlock kind of sucks, just like all the other software that's out there in terms of, in terms of the mechanisms of preventing any sort of academic cheating. Any system sucks. Any monitoring system actually really sucks. There's nothing in this world that actually really works that well, and I don't expect it changing for at least a few more decades by the time we actually get something that works well. However, the bigger question is not necessarily whether you can cheat Honorlock or you can cheat any particular thing. The bigger question, I think, is can you live with yourself for the rest of your life knowing that you actually did this? And I think that is a really big, deep, and profound question that we all have to think about, because I want you to sort of recognize what's going on, right? If you actually cheat Honorlock and you actually get away with it, every single thing that you accomplish after that is going to be thought of in your own mind, right? Nobody else cares. Nobody else is paying attention. In your own mind, you're going to be thinking, was this actually legitimate? Did I get here? Is this something that I actually accomplished myself? All of those things are really big questions. And I know that you could be really well off. You could do some really wonderful things by cheating the system on a regular basis. People do that, right? Like, lots of people do that. But the bigger issue is, how do you actually live with yourself when you actually do that? And I know lots of people have personality characteristics that prevent them from feeling these sort of moral decisions, but many of you do feel those moral decisions, and you can be faced with different things when you go and get older and do things in your life where you're going to look and say, hey, I've got this choice to make. I'm not going to perform as well as I think I'm going to perform when I do this. Or I can perform a little bit better and cheat the system somehow, in some way. And you might get a little edge, and you might continuously get a little edge, and you can have millions of dollars more by doing that, by cheating the system. But then you have to think about yourself when you are 80 years old, 90 years old, and think about, did I actually get here on my own? Is where I stand right now, is that actually legitimate? Am I a fraud? And that's a really big question that we all have to think about, and we all have to sort of wrestle with, is how do I feel about myself when I do these particular actions and where I stand in life? And we're all going to get there. It always happens, unless, a brick drops on you, a great big piano drops on you, and you don't expect it. But most of us are going to be sitting in our deathbed, and sorry about that, it's a little shaky. Most of us are going to be sitting on our deathbed and thinking about our life and how we actually got to where we are. And we all make mistakes. We make a lot of silly mistakes. That's part of being human, right? So even if you go and do this right now and you go cheat Honorlock, or you go cheat the system somehow, it happens. However, all of those mistakes, all of those things that you do in your life, it compounds. And you think about them. You really, truly do think about them as you get older. And some of us have consequences that we do pay from those things, and some of us don't. It's a matter of making a cost-benefit analysis, right? So the benefit is that you actually graduate, or you get through this course and you graduate, right? That's your expected benefit. But the cost is, twofold, right? So the first cost is, what if you actually get caught? And if you do get caught, what are the consequences of getting caught, right? So most of you will probably get some sort of mild reprimand of some sort, right? That's fine. But the other cost is this moral, thinking about your self-worth. And that is a lot of baggage that you got to carry with you, not tomorrow, not, the next day. It's your whole life you're going to be thinking about this. And I'm going to tell you this, I made stupid mistakes in the past as well. And those things haunt me. I think about them all the time. And they really do bother me. Maybe I'm unusual because I think about things a little bit too much. But I don't think so. I think many of us think about these things, and many of us really reflect on these things as we get older. So I just encourage you to think about that. It's not necessarily, cheating the system's totally fine, right? Like, it's your life if you want to do that. Somebody's going to take that out of context. I encourage you not to cheat the system. However, that's your life that you have to live with. And that's a big thing to live with as you get older. So think about what kind of the quality of person you want to be. Where do you want to stand? How do you want to get there? All of those things really matter. And all of those things are going to build and compound. So one thing I actually wanted to point out before I go is that if you want to become very successful in life, in business and all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm a business professor. It really does matter what your reputation is. If you have the reputation of being fair, of being easy to work with, of doing the right thing even though that nobody is looking, all of that stuff compounds over time, because what that does, if you don't know, every transaction, everything that you do in life, right, like how you actually earn wealth and get wealthy are just transactions, right? There's many things in this world that you can never ever sort of with a transaction, you don't know whether that transaction is actually going to turn out, right? So you give money to a contractor, for example. You don't know if that contractor is going to walk away, right? Many of them do. But what we do know is that having that reputation where you show up and you do good work and you do the right thing no matter what, and you try to be happy. I know not everybody's happy all the time. You try to do those kind of things all the time, that you start to build a reputation. And that reputation matters after 10, 20, 30 years, because when you have a really good reputation, you actually build status within, within the environment that you're in, right? You become the person to go to because everybody trusts you. And if everybody can trust you because you're the person to go to, then you're going to get a lot more opportunities given to you, right? People are going to say, hey, I actually want to work with this person. I wonder if I can give them a multi-million-dollar deal. Well, that's real life. That's how this stuff works. It's all about the reputation that you have. And so you have to think about what kind of person you want to be and where you're going to go. So think about that as you're going about making this decision right now. I know it's a big decision, but I encourage you to think about that, who you want to be and where you want to go. And the last thing, I know a lot of people do these things because you feel pressured. You feel like that you got no other alternatives. I'm going to tell you this right now. If you do poorly, it doesn't matter that much. It really does not. We've all done poorly at various parts of our life, and we all recover, and we come back and do really good things. The problem is if you actually cheat the system, that sticks with you. The doing poorly, you can rebound. You can figure it out after. And I think that's an important choice that you need to make. All right. Take care and have a wonderful day.